Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. Today I have the update for Project Level Up. Project Level Up was created by Sophie Alexandra. I will have her linked down below, and there will also be an explanation, some people who are doing it, people who I've watched before I started doing this, and that sort of convinced me to do it. So I am still working on my level 3 palette as of right now. Let me tell you, if you've seen the last update, I will link it in the cards if you have not. I was convinced that I was working on my level 2 palette before I started filming that, and then I realized I was on my level 3 palette, and I was working on a big palette. I was working on the Lite Scooby-Doo eyeshadow palette, and this has 25 eyeshadows. So we all had a laugh about it. I mean, honestly, I laughed about it when editing that. It was just funny to see my face realizing that I wasn't on level 2 but on level 3, and I've had some comments about it. It was funny. But that also meant that I really had to work hard on this palette, because I had to use all of the shades 3 times and I had to hit 3 pans. In the last update, I'm just checking my sticky note right now. There were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Were there any shades that I'd already finished? Yeah, okay. There was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 shadows. 7 shadows out of 25 that I'd already hit my usage goal on. Wow. And that was about it. I did not have any pans yet. It was a little bit scary. So I am going to show you my palette. This is what my palette is looking like right now, and it's gonna be hard to see, honestly. So I'm just gonna go over the amount of uses that I still had to do, and I don't know, everything. Okay, I'm gonna try to do it quick. So in the first row, I used this shadow 2 extra times for the 3 uses. I used this shadow 1 extra time for the 3 uses. This one I've used 2 extra times for the 3 uses. And this one I've used 2 extra times for the 3 uses. And this one I've used 3 extra times. It already had 1 use, so I've used it 4 times total, but that's fine. Then this row, this shadow I've used 4 times. I'd already had it, used it twice. And I was able to hit pan. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see that. There's the tiniest speck of pan in this shadow. Now I do have to say a little disclaimer. These shadows are very soft. Like, I would put my brush into it, sort of like flat, and the shadow would move away from my brush. So it was kind of a struggle sometimes to pick up the right amount of shadow. It would kind of move around in the pan. I did kind of use that to my advantage, of course, and most of these pans that I've hit, I've finally hit when I used a very small detailed brush to put it on my lower lash line, and that way I was able to hit pan. They're still very soft and movable shadows, so that can be seen as cheating, or some people would maybe feel like it's an easy way out, like I'm digging into my shadows, but really I'm just trying to pick it up on my brush and not waste anything. And if it moves away from my brush, I just press it back down, but it does create a dip quicker. I don't know why I'm explaining this, like, it's my palette, so I can do whatever I want. I just feel like some people would maybe not really find this fair, that that's how I hit pan, but I think there's nothing wrong with that. So the green one was actually not my first pan, but we'll get to that. I'm just gonna go row by row. So 4 extra times to hit pan, so a total of 6 in this project. Then this green one, I have used 1 extra time for 3 uses, as well as the one next to that. Then also these 2, I've used 1 more time for 3 uses. Moving on to the purple row. Here is another pan. Okay, you can now see both of these pans. See that silver speck? This one is a little bit bigger. I used this 3 extra times for a total of 5, and this was actually my first pan. I did not expect to love this purple row as much as I did. Last update I had barely used this row and I was very scared of it, but I really enjoyed it. I actually paired a lot of the purples with yellows from my Panda palette, and I really loved that combination. I would do yellow on the inner part of my lid and then purple on the outer part of the lid. It was beautiful. I really liked it. So the matte purple next to that, I used 3 extra times for a total of 4. Then this more pinky purple, I used 2 extra times for a total of 3. The one next to that, I did that as well. And the one at the very end, I also used 2 extra times for a total of 3. Then the orange row, I already used these foreshadows 3 times, and I had to use this one 1 extra time, which I did. And I did not use them any additional times, as far as I can see on my notes, I think. And then the bottom row, let me count. I used this shadow right here an extra 4 times, and I don't know if you can see that. Again, it's like very tiny, but there is a pan in this shadow. Now, I did not expect to hit pan in the shadow. I used it today on my lid and as well also on my lower lash line. And when I put my brush into it, again, it just moved away. So there is a tiny pan. I think I will use it once more to kind of make the pan a little bit bigger, because I feel like this one is very tiny. But I am counting it as a pan. All of the other blue shades I already did use 3 times. No, wait. I should have used a different color pen to mark this. All of these blue shades I had to use 2 extra times, which I did. And I was a little bit scared of the blues. I did a Pan Those Eyeshadows update where I wore a blue look. I was very scared of that look, but I got so many compliments on it, so thank you. And I also did a blue and purple look, which I really loved. It was like sort of like galaxy. I'm not really sure what video I'm wearing that, but I will link it in the cards if I can figure it out. I'm pretty sure I wore it for filming as well. So that means that this palette, level 3, I'm putting the sticky note back, is done. I was gonna roll a new palette regardless of if I hit pan in the 3rd shade. I'm gonna use that 3rd shade a couple more times to enlarge the pan, if you will. But I was gonna roll in a new palette anyway, because keeping a palette in for just hitting 1 pan, I wasn't gonna do that. So we are gonna roll a new palette, and I'm a little bit scared because this is level 4. Last year I only went up to level 4. I did not do level 5. I think I'm gonna do the same this year. I've categorized my palettes by season, and I'm thinking, and maybe this is cheating, because normally I roll 3 palettes and I pick 1. But because we're in April, we're at the end of April as I'm filming this, I feel like maybe because it's level 4 and it might take me long, I should roll 3 palettes from the spring wheel, 3 palettes from the summer wheel, and then pick a palette. And the spring and summer, like all the season wheels also have palettes that I feel like I could work on year round. So there's a lot of options, but I feel like if I roll 6 different options, there has to be something that I will feel satisfied with to work on for a level 4. Let's just not listen to me blabbing along any longer. Let's just go for it. I'm gonna roll 3 spring palettes. There might be some options in here that don't have enough shadows to hit pan in anymore, but we shall see. And then I will roll 3 summer palettes, and then we will make our decision. So here we go. Oh gosh, the sun is very bright. So the Mica Beauty Shop Peacock palette, the ABH Norfina palette, like that definitely is a year-round palette. So the Obsession palette, what's that? Oh, that's Flormar, so that's a quad. Okay, so that's the option for spring. And then for summer palettes, I did block some of them out because they don't have enough pans to work on. Glam Shop singles. Actually, I'm gonna block that one out because I've been doing build my own palette for Pana palette, so that palette is kind of a mess. The Beauty Bay Dumbo palette. Oh gosh. The Revolution Elf palette, or the Juvia's Place Magic Mini. Okay, I'm gonna get all these palettes, show them to you, and then I will make my decision. Okay, so I've got all my palettes. This is so difficult. This is so difficult. Maybe I'm just overwhelmed, but it is difficult. I have 2 that are an immediate no. Let's just get those out of the way. It is my Beauty Bay Dumbo palette. I mean, very cute, but all mattes in colors that I don't wear daily, except maybe this yellow I could definitely see myself wearing daily because I love yellows. And then maybe these tones are kind of neutral, but also kind of cool toned pinky, and I don't love those. So this is definitely not going to be it. And the second one is the Flormar Obsessions quad, because I would have to hit pan in all 4 of these shades. I have no idea how deep these pans are, and looking at it, it's more of a fall color story to me than spring and summer. I don't know, I think I put this in for an all year round palette, which it could be, but if I have to hit pan on all 4 shades, it's gonna take me so long. It's not gonna keep me happy in spring and summer. So those are no-nos. And then there's 3 palettes that are kind of like, do I maybe want to pan them at one point, like to completion, or as much as I can to completion? Do I want to declutter them? Should I get as much use out of them as possible? Should I give myself a head start for panning them maybe next year? I don't know. So the first one is the Revolution Elf palette. Now this is a cute palette, but it's Revolution. I have a lot of pans in this already. The quality isn't the best. Some shades are good, some are not so good. There is 4 easy shimmers that I could still hit pan in. This white one would be doable, and then the oranges and the gold. It would be doable, but do I want to do it? because I would also have to use all of the other shades at least 4 times. I don't know. I don't know. But this is one of those palettes that I think I should get some more use out of this, and then I would be okay to declutter it maybe at the end of the year. Then there is the ABH Nervina, which is in my Nabla Dreamy packaging. Now this is repressed, completely repressed into this packaging because ABH is, I don't know. Their pans most of the times have bad rust issues. So I depotted mine completely into this. Yeah. So I did have pan already in all of the shimmers before I put it in here. So I could re-hit pan in them. But do I want to? And this is also a palette that, you know, I tried to roll it into Panda palette last year, which was a bad move because it's very similar to Nabla Dreamy. But I would like to pan it at some point. So do I give myself a head start on this palette? Then there's the Magic Mini. This one again, I've looked at this and was like, that's good for a Panda palette maybe. There's some neutrals, there's some colors. Wouldn't that be fun? So do I give myself a head start on this palette before one day in the future panning it? That's the question. And then the last option is the Mica Beauty Shop Peacock Feathers palette. And this is brand spanking new. I've used a couple of the shades. This shadow was in pan, those eyeshadows, but I rolled it out because it was very intense. There's some other shimmers that I could hit pan on. Let's be real, it's gonna be the shimmers that I'm gonna be working on. So do I work on this palette because it is practically new? That would be nice to get some use on. I think it's gonna be this one, honestly. I've done a giant palette with a lot of colors, and I realized that I'm not as afraid of colors as I thought I was. So I think I could do with this, and I would love to give this some more love. I'm just not feeling it with the rest. They're kind of boring. Also, I did not yet complete No Pan Left Behind on this outside of this project. And I did that with the Nabla Dreamy, the ABH Nervina, sorry, and the Magic Mini from Juvia's Place. So that's another reason I want to do this. Killing 2 birds with 1 stone. May I regret this? Who knows? But I just worked on a giant, super colorful palette. So this should not be too hard, maybe? Who knows? I'm just gonna go for it. We're gonna work on the Mica Beauty Shop Peacock Feathers palette. A little close-up for you. I'm gonna be real. We're gonna hit pan in probably all shimmers. These shimmers are very soft again, and they wouldn't be too hard. For uses on all shadows, that might take me a good while. But who knows? I'm excited to try out this palette a little bit more. I also do have a first impressions and swatches. Isn't the best video I've ever made, but I do have it. So if you want to watch it, I will link it for you. This is rolling into this project. So that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Sorry if I was very rambly today. I don't know. My head is full. Very full. So I'm just gonna leave it at this. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will hopefully see you in one of my next videos. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.